Hey, what am I supposed to do?
Oh, look, Rodney, it's right here in your script. Come on. Well, let me see. Wait a second. Okay, Sarducci enters. I get a phone call. The Vaternas and Mr. Mumaroos. Sarducci turns on the TV set. I help you find your place in the script. Oh, yeah, here it is, right there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about Season 5, Episode 13, with host Rodney Dangerfield and musical guest, the Geils Band. This show originally aired on March 8, 1980. Brad, Rodney Dangerfield, one of the premier stand-up comics of the late 70s, early 80s.
Rodney is back, yes.
That's right, he is back. I forgot he had an appearance.
I missed that cameo after watching this episode.
Well, we have a cameo of our own, in fact, Brad.
We have a new voice that you haven't heard from Classic SNL Reviews, which is a really great blog, which I am not going to lie, would refer to very often doing research back in the day. Jason, how are you, bud?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show. Huge fan. It's an honor and a privilege to talk to you guys tonight.
If you are a fan of our podcast, Jason's blog is really great. He does these really great reviews of all the old classic episodes, exactly what we're doing. I think he's up through season 3, midway through season 3 right now?
Midway through season 3, just did the Robert Klein Attack of the Giant Lobsters episode. It's the latest.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to, I work on it when my work and life allow me to.
We get it, Jason. You have a better life than us. It's fine. So as you've listened all season, all of our guests for season 5, we've asked them, what episode would you like to do? So you chose the Rodney Dangerfield episode. And as I've asked everyone else, but I truly mean it this week, why?
Well, 2 reasons. Number one, I'm a huge Dangerfield fan. My whole family was fans of his to this day. When my father and my uncle and I get together, it's like dueling Dangerfield impressions. Last week I looked up my family tree. I found out I'm the sap, just not good impressions. Just we do that. We can just quote him for hours at a time. I had all his records growing up. I both read his memoir and the recently published biography, neither of which mentions his SNL gig or barely mentions it, I guess. But this is an episode I owned. It was officially released in the 1980s on home video, and it was one of the few I owned. I watched it many times in high school. So that's why this episode for me.
All right. So even though you had seen this before now, you still chose this episode. That's fine. We get it.
Yes.
Gary, we have to behave. We have a guest this week.
I bring a lot of nostalgia to this review, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there is a lot to talk about here, good and bad. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yes, a lot to talk about, and maybe some stuff we'd rather not talk about, but we'll get to that as we go along. So.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll do something. What had Rodney, and I usually ask Brad this question, but I'll ask you, Jason, what had Rodney Dangerfield been up to at this point in early 1980? Where was he at in his career? I mean, we know he was big.
His career was, if not at its absolute height, it was getting there. He gained fame in the 60s and 70s on Ed Sullivan and The Tonight Show, and he owned his nightclub Dangerfield's in New York, which allowed him to perform without constant touring. And later that year, later in 1980, he released No Respect, which is his best album and biggest album. It won a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. So this is a pretty big period in his life, in his career, I'd say. And then of course Caddyshack is coming out in a few months after this episode. So he's in a pretty good place professionally and creatively, I think, right now.
Gary, would it surprise you to learn that when he won the Grammy that year for Best Comedy Album, that Chevy Chase's album was not up for nomination that year?
Not surprised in the least. I think what Jason said that surprised me more than anything was that Rodney Dangerfield's apex was around now and not around the release of Ladybugs, the movie where he coached a girls' soccer team in the early 1990s.
You know, it's so funny, though. I was looking it up. I feel like, at least in my mind, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield is a bigger movie guy than he really was. Because you mentioned Ladybugs. Caddyshack comes out this year. All he really had when I went back and looked it up was Easy Money and Back to School.
Right.
In the mid 80s. And then Ladybugs came up. But between those three movies, Caddyshack, Easy Money, and Back to School, he's huge as a movie star, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good, he's got a pretty good batting average with those movies there.
Well, up until Ladybugs, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even with right? He's batting 750 with Ladybugs. But that's not, that wasn't what made him famous, right? And I think that's pretty fascinating how big, and it speaks to the time too of being on Ed Sullivan, being on the Tonight Show, and how huge those television appearances could make you as a star. And then he does this brilliant thing by opening his own comedy club so he doesn't have to tour, like you said, Jason. It's just it's a pretty interesting career he had.
Yeah, and of course he's also one of those comedians who would do Vegas residencies and in addition to Dangerfield's.
You know what I found out when I was researching Dangerfield? You know how we heard Zweibel before he got on the show was starting out with selling jokes to comics.
Yes.
And Dangerfield, when he started getting his act back together in the Catskills, Zweibel, one of his biggest jokes he sold was to Dangerfield back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
A classic no respect joke. It's even as an infant, I didn't get any respect. My mother wouldn't breastfeed me. She said she liked me as a friend.
I know that joke. That's a Zweibel.
Do you really?
That's awesome.
Yeah, apparently it's a Zweibel. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Zweibel.
I didn't know that was Zweibel.
I like it even more. That's great. Well, I think, there's a reason that this episode was not mentioned in his memoir or biography that you just read, Jason, but I think we should just get into it now. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes, let's.
So the cold open starts outside of Rodney's dressing room, and then we go in and see Rodney going over the script. Father Guido Sarducci comes in to big applause. And he asks to share Rodney's dressing room, and Rodney's trying to learn his lines for the show, and he's a little uncomfortable, but he says yes. Then Jane comes in and starts running lines, and then Jane gets a phone call, and Father Guido brings in this family that's visiting the show, and it's just like chaos in the dressing room as Rodney's trying to get ready for the show. And then it gets very meta, where Rodney's looking at the script and there's a TV there that Father Guido turns on, and Jane tries to find the place in the script where they are, and they run through the entire open that we've seen so far.
Pretty much what you've just seen, yeah.
Yeah. And then Rodney does the live from New York, but he does it to camera, but we see it through the television, which is different than we've seen before. But it was an interesting cold open. I don't know.
2 weeks in a row with the whole host in the dressing room before the show kind of thing. Interesting.
That's a word for it.
I thought it was nice to hear a big applause for Father Guido. I think it shows how popular he was at that time.
They love him. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like the idea of taking him out of the Weekend Update setting. I don't think the execution is really pulled off in this sketch. It felt longer than it actually was, and kind of overstuffed, and didn't really add up to a whole lot. That was my take on it. I like the meta aspect of him looking into the TV as we're looking into our TV, but all the business with the Italian family and Mr. Mumaru, it just didn't do much for me.
It took a while. It took a while to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Even for a meta piece, which tends to take a little bit of time because you're like in that backstage world. But even for that, this just took a while. At one point, I even made the note, oh my God, now she's going to literally read the script. Like you said,
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah. And she did. Yeah.
She did. And there's not a lot of jokes. It's like you did a pretty good job of describing what happened on screen.
Thank you. Just a heads up, it's going to get worse and worse as the episode goes on, my description.
I mean, Gary, who, admit loves Father Guido Sarducci, I'm not sure we needed this.
It felt like something where they just wanted a reaction from the crowd. I think I thought it was odd, the crowd didn't react because we see Rodney at first and there's no reaction to seeing him, which I thought was interesting. And then Guido comes in, and I think that's when, you start to get the stage manager trying to get the crowd into something.
Maybe.
But I agree. It didn't need to be Father Guido Sarducci. The whole thing in and of itself was strange.
It's like they didn't know what to do. They had nothing for a cold open. And they're like, well, let's just do what we did last week. Same thing. We'll be fine.
Also, why not let Jane say live from New York? Nothing. I know Dangerfield is the host, but she's gotten to do it once, and I don't think she's going to do it again.
Yeah.
In the next 9 episodes, whatever is left. So, yeah, I didn't care much for the cold opening.
You know what hit me on this, Gary? Watching it though, I found myself asking, "Where's Gilda?"
Oh, interesting.
And just kind of a bigger question. I feel like we haven't seen her. Like, this would have been a prime. Why you do this? Give Gilda a spotlight on a code open. And then I realized we haven't seen her in a while.
I mean,
I know she did last week.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like she's been doing, this is just more of an in general question, because she seems to be doing all these little one-offs. She hasn't been featured in weeks. And I went back and looked. The last time she actually did a character or an impression was that Christmas episode, when she did Barba Wawa and Rosanna Dana and the Nerds. Like, she hasn't done any of that in the last 5 episodes.
Well, she did Rhonda Weiss in Jewish Jeans, which is your favorite bit of all time.
I'm just happy you brought that up. Yeah, thank you. I don't know. It just felt like this would be a great spot to let Gilda do her thing, and we haven't seen her in so long. Like, in a big featured character role.
I don't know. I mean, we can second guess this all night long, but that'll just prevent us from second guessing the rest of the show. So let's move on.
Somebody should have first guessed it, but whatever.
Yeah, I think everyone was so checked out by this point in 1980. No one.
It does have that feel. It does have that feel.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, this feels like a dead show walking at this point of season 5 in a lot of ways. I'm sorry if that sounds too harsh.
Not to Gary, it doesn't. Nope.
No. I mean, no, that's dead on. You're right on with that.
Which is why I've decided to talk about this show on this episode. Yeah.
Then we get our monologue, which is just a typical Rodney stand-up set. And I think it's good. It works. That's what he's good at. This is his bread and butter. And he comes on and does, I don't know if it was 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I didn't really time this, but yeah, it was fun to see Rodney do stand-up.
He gets a huge response here, though, when he walks out. Huge response.
He does.
Yeah.
Deservingly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I counted, and it depends on one's definition of a joke, but I counted at least 18 jokes in that monologue.
Wow.
He's just nonstop hitting those one-liners, and I think this is one of the best monologues of the first 5 years. I'm going to put it up there with some of Steve Martin and his monologues and Richard Pryor. And I think if you're a Dangerfield fan, this is the reason to watch the show.
Yes.
If nothing else, I thought it was a brilliant monologue.
It's really good. It went a little long for me, but there are big laughs in here, like funny stuff. This guy is a legend. And like you said, Jason, he's putting on a clinic right now for 5 or 6 minutes. It's really good.
It really is. And like you're saying, right, it's 18 jokes at least. And he's just like, boom, boom, boom. Because that was his style.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that now with today's stand-up comics. They don't have that same rhythm that he had. And it's a lot of fun to watch.
I tell you, I went through plenty with the first of my hitchhike got beat up. I used the wrong finger. And that's the story of my life. No respect. I don't get no respect at all. I don't get no respect from anyone. Well, last Christmas, my kid wanted a BB gun. I gave him a BB gun. He gave me a sweatshirt with a bullseye in the back. Real smart kid I got. The other day I told him about the birds and the bees. He told me about my wife and a butcher. I tell you, my kitty drives me nuts where he put crazy glue in my preparation H. My daughter, she's no bargain either. In public school, she was voted most likely to conceive. That's the trouble with kids today. They play around too young. Who they play around young? Well, today they got birth control pills shaped like Fred Flintstone. Yeah, you talk to some kids, they're afraid to have sex. They're scared. Ooh, the first time I had sex, I was scared. I was so scared, you know? I was all alone.
I got to ask it. I didn't look it up.
Yes.
How old is he? Is he mid-50s at this point? Got to be, right?
He turns 58 in 1980.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
He turns 59. He's 58 here. Yeah, he turns 59 later that year. Yeah.
Because he spent 20-some years trying to make it. So I knew he had to be older, and he looks old, but I was like, I was wondering what he was.
He mentions it in one of the sketches.
Right.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, well...
Wasn't the next sketch by any chance, was it?
Oh, the next sketch is... Okay, we're...
Hold on, I'm going to sit back. Go ahead, Gary.
All right, I already wrote down what to say on this, so here we go. The next sketch is Harry to camera with an extremely racist gold coin offer. That's it. That's what this was.
That's true.
First thing I wrote in my notes was aged poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for any listeners who aren't aware of the intricacies of early 80s global politics or whatever, the Kruger ads were basically blood money, gold coins that were minted in South Africa that helped prop up the racist apartheid regime. And they were mined by black miners who had basically no rights in the country where they lived and worked. And they were mining the gold for these coins that helped keep the regime alive, that kept them enslaved, basically. Sorry, that's a lot more information than we needed on this episode. But
that's actually a better version than either one of us would have done.
Yeah. No, that was exactly what we needed to hear, Jason.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give, and I'm sure that's what Harry Shearer was thinking. I'm guessing he wrote the sketch too. He's trying to make a comment about how the people who are making these coins have no rights, but they're keeping apartheid alive. But it's just it doesn't work.
No, you're right. It doesn't age well. But yeah, Harry wrote this, and he talks on this on Ian's podcast. Harry was a guest on Ian's podcast. He talks about this sketch, and yeah, he's addressing all the things you mentioned and trying to make a point on it. He's admitted he was surprised it got on the air. He's like, I don't know how that happened. He said that even before the sketch went on the air, Dangerfield came up to him. He's like, you're not really going to do this, are you? Really? All that being said, and I agree, it doesn't age well, doesn't play well. It's of the time, I do give Harry Shearer credit for trying to write a smart sketch about it. It's not a dumb sketch. He tries to be smart about attacking it and being satirical about it. There are some decent lines in there. He's got these lines where you could buy these to collect them, or if you just want to buy and sell them, just like the people they honor. And at the end, there's a tag where, because even if you're colorblind, you can see gold. It doesn't age well, but for the time, I do think he was trying to be smart about it and make a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've already talked about how smart humor does not work on this show. And
that's why it didn't work, because it was smart.
No, I mean, I think there were ways that he could have done this and been smart and not still been offensive in many regards.
It's just a classic example of how it doesn't age at all. That's all.
I mean, don't think I heard the audience laugh either. Like, I think maybe by age you mean the 5 seconds it took to hit anyone's ears, because the crowd was silent.
Sometimes discomfort can lead to laughter. I heard a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it was.
I think what you heard was the crew, Jason, going, "Oh my God, he's doing it! Holy shit!"
You're probably right.
No, I don't know that that's true. What I do know is that I did have one moment in the next sketch that I was very excited. Brad, do you know what that moment could have been?
Oh my God. And the mystery bin? I have no idea.
No, not the mystery bin. All right, well, we'll get to it. First, we start out in Dr. Shockley's House of Sperm, where Gilda and her husband, Paul Schaefer, are trying to get sperm from Bill Murray, who's the counter person at the House of Sperm. And they want the Rodney Dangerfield because they want a funny child.
You wouldn't by any chance have any Rodney Dangerfield, do you? We wanted a kid with a sense of humor when he grows up.
Yeah. So Bill goes into the back and talks to Lorraine, the nurse, and then we see Rodney playing himself, donating sperm. And apparently this is he's a big get. Everyone wants Rodney's sperm. And so they come to Dr. Shockley's House of Sperm. And when we go back out to the front of the house, we see a very crowded storefront now, just packed with every writer who wasn't nailed down.
Are you going to jump over the Yvonne Hudson appearance?
No. This is when she comes in.
Aren't they by themselves? Isn't it just the two of them, Garrett and her, and then everybody comes in, the Nazis and all that crap?
No, I thought they came in with everybody. I mean, I wasn't going to go through this beat by beat.
I don't know. I thought they were on their own.
Just heads up, I'm not going through any sketch in this show.
No,
beat
you should.
By beat.
No, I only say because Garrett gives him a bunch of shit for not having any brothers in there. He's like, well, who's that guy we like? Oh, Rodney Dangerfield. And then he goes back because Bill keeps going back and interrupting Rodney the whole time while he's trying to produce more sperm.
Right. Go on, keep going. You're on a roll here.
Well, because I have the note. You go from black to Nazis. That's your progression in this sketch. You go from Gilda and Paul Schaefer to Garrett and Yvonne to Nazis wanting Rodney Dangerfield.
I guess we should mention this is Franken and Davis and Downey. It felt the Nazi inclusion felt like them trying to do a Michael O'Donoghue type.
Nice.
Let's shock people by sticking Nazis in this sketch, and I'm not, that's what it felt like to me.
I think you're spot on there, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me.
Okay.
So then because none of this really worked, but there's something you liked after all of this, and Rodney gets asked to produce like 8 vials of sperm. We cut and he wakes up in his bed and it was all a dream. Is that what you were looking forward to?
I don't think it was all a dream. I think no. You skipped over it. You stole my thunder. It was Yvonne Hudson,
was it?
But we've already moved past that.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. I thought it was all a dream, and then I thought it was he just exhausted and like he was having post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm not really sure.
Wait. Really?
I don't know. It was not clear.
It was. No.
Maybe it all was just a dream that everyone wants Rodney's sperm. That would kind of play into the Nazi part being a dream element.
I thought it was a dream because it was the out. Because I was like, where the hell is this going? And I'm like, okay, at least it's an out. At least him having it was all a dream was an out. And I kind of bought it as a dream, but
that's how I interpreted it. It was all a dream. He was only a sperm donor in his dream.
Yeah. Because if you didn't have a dream, Gary, you're going to have a 4-minute crawl to end the sketch.
Right. I enjoyed that he was donating sperm in his suit. He was still wearing his suit and tie.
Dude wears 3 outfits all night. It's the robe and towel, this suit. And until the last sketch, it was 2 outfits.
No, he put on pajamas in this this sketch.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
You're right, though. He's wearing the suit the whole time.
From there, we get our first performance from the Geils Band, singing their hit song, Love Stinks. Brad, what have you got on Geils Band? Do you have a Geils puppet like Jason has a Rodney Dangerfield puppet? That would have been remarkable.
Would have been.
Damn it.
Don't. I have a Levon Helm puppet, but that doesn't count. Let's see. You know what I think I completely forgot?
What's that?
That Peter Wolf was the singer of the Geils Band.
You didn't realize that, or you didn't remember that?
I think I completely forgot. Yeah, Love Stinks, title track of their recent album, come out a couple months earlier. band on the rise. You know, it's like weird. It's a band on the rise, but they'd been recording for like 10 years up to this point.
That surprised me too. I did not realize
was
that
their
they
ninth
started in
album.
the late 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, music industry was a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because can you imagine now being a band and recording 9, 10 albums well over a decade, and then you have your number one album, which they have, next year with Freeze Frame and Centerfold. Like they're not even at Centerfold level yet.
Right. Yeah.
I liked this song when it came out. I was 8 years old, and perfect for 8-year-olds. Ha ha ha! The word stinks in a pop song. You didn't hear that too often. Still don't hear that very often. But it was number 38 on the Billboard pop chart for what that's worth. And I think it's a good performance. I think Peter Wolf was one of the better front man of his time. I think I've read somewhere that even Springsteen sort of saw him as an early inspiration because they came up around the same time in terms of stage presence. But I thought it was a good performance.
I wanted to ask because I kind of thought Peter Wolf felt off to me. I don't know him that well, and I don't know the song that well, but it felt, you know what, Gary, you've said this, and I don't listen to you, go figure. The audio of the bands not coming across properly because it sounded like too garagey for me, it didn't seem like the studio track of like fullness. And I feel like I've said that like 4 or 5 times this season. I'm finally realizing like, you're right, Gary. Like they just don't know how to take the rock. They don't know.
What a surprise.
4.5 seasons.
It took you like 35 years. Yeah.
I know. But I really felt it. I was like, they just seemed a little weak, like a little, like, I think I said it for the B-52s. The punch wasn't there that I was remembering when I thought I remembered this song.
Yeah. And I think it has to do more with the mix for TV than anything. And it's a shame, especially when he starts. And I kind of sense that he was a little frustrated with it at a point where he's like getting, what's the harmonica guy name? Magic Dick. That's the guy that plays the harmonica.
That's his name?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Because I do have the note. That guy bothers me.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's in the second song too. You can go to magicdick.com, by the way. He has his own website. But
sorry, quick question. Did you stumble upon that his website? Or
no,
I'm just curious what you do.
I Googled Magic Dick and
wow. I know exactly what you Googled. I'm pretty sure I could piece together what you Googled.
But you could see Peter Wolf getting a little, like, I don't know. He did seem a little uncomfortable. I think he felt better. He looked better in the second song, honestly, Brad, I thought, than he did in this one.
I'll give you that. Yes, I agree.
But I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. Jason, you like this song, this performance?
Yeah, I liked the song. I thought it was a good performance. And like I said, I was a fan of Love Stinks at the time.
It was interesting that this is the first song they play as their yet to be released single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to give them credit. I do like when bands kind of come out and they're like, this is something you haven't heard. This is what we want to play. And they lead off with that. So I will give credit for that.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's interesting to watch Jay Geils Band and some of those outfits too that they were wearing were fun.
Yeah, it's not freeze frame centerfold Jay Geils Band, which was cool to watch.
No.
Yeah.
Also, I felt like the musical guest was a little early tonight. Is my imagination?
Well, it was because the 2 sketches were so short. Because the Harry Shearer to camera sketch was very short, not as short as it should have been, but it was very short. And then the Dr. Shockley's thing wasn't particularly long. So
really,
I meant
long as hell to me.
Yeah, no. We'll get to even longer sketches tonight.
Sadly.
But for the first 2 sketches, they were relatively short because I had the note that Weekend Update comes right after Jay Geils Band, and we're only 23 minutes into the show at that point.
Fair.
But with Weekend Update, we have, like you said, Brad, the clocks were just past midnight. Behind Jane, it was One More Time, and behind Bill, it was Part-Time this week. Then we had a bunch of jokes about the Middle East, about Nixon, CBS, and 60 Minutes. Bill made a fat joke about Muhammad Ali. And then we got a Generalissimo Francisco Franco joke.
Yes.
I like that callback. Always appreciate those. Which got a response. The crowd woke up for that one.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Then there was a weird camera problem.
No, it was a Bill problem.
It was a Bill problem, yeah.
I think Bill jumped in too soon. Yeah, he tried to go into the next bit too soon.
Yeah, he jumped in the middle.
Bill had a couple problems tonight.
Yeah, and Jane gives him the old side eye. How great is Jane?
Yeah. How great is Jane?
Yes.
But then he introduces Hollywood Corner with Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver.
Real celebrities on Celebrity
Real
Corner.
celebrities. Yeah, the actual actors, not no one playing them. And this whole thing, I was just like, what? Why is this? It felt very weird because it was two legit actors and he wasn't being, Hollywood Bill.
They did a good job with it. I thought they were funny.
Who, Tony Dow and Jerry Mathers? Yeah, they were fine.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It was completely out of nowhere, but I thought they did a really good job of falling back in that whole Wally Beaver routine, and I enjoyed it.
It was okay. Yeah, they were good, and this is of course a time before a million cable and streaming channels, and Leave It to Beaver was on all over the place, and obviously a lot of the audience would have grown up with those two on TV. So
Right.
it was fine. Didn't think it was brilliant, but they were good, playing their younger selves, as it were.
Yeah. And then Bill has another problem with the joke, right? With
Bill's having a tough time tonight.
Yeah.
He is. Yes.
and we get through all those jokes, and then Jane introduces Father Guido Sarducci, who is now in Bill's chair. Like Bill's not even there. And he's talking about a nationality change.
Operations. A nationality change operation.
Right. Yes.
Instead of sex change, yeah.
He introduces us to a guy who went from Italian to Japanese. And this guy only
$5,000
for $5,000. And the guy only speaks Italian, so Father Guido is going to have to translate for us. And it turns out that this guy grew up in Italy and only liked rice and liked fish, but he only liked raw fish. And it's long. It's long. It's long. Just and also, kind of offensive still. Just in keeping with the show.
Well, in comparison, this episode, it's come on.
I gotta say, as big a fan as I am of Father Guido and Don Novello, I have this certain, call it prejudice, call it whatever. I don't like to see the same characters twice. I think about a season 2 episode where we got 2 appearances by Emily Latella, and I just feel like they've left out other stuff they could do in the show. I didn't need to see Father Guido again in the same episode, and I definitely didn't need to see him talking to someone in Italian again in the same episode. The exchange with the nationality change guy, that did nothing for me.
That makes 2 of us, Jason.
Okay.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it really led to more questions of why throw him into the cold open if you're going to have him on Weekend Update.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. You don't need to use him twice. I mean, we haven't even seen Alan Zweibel tonight. Could have used him in there somewhere. And that's it for Weekend Update. I can't say it was a short Weekend Update because it wasn't.
No.
But it wasn't particularly a standout Weekend Update either.
Sadly, no.
Oh, well. And then we're moving on to Manhasset, Long Island.
Ooh.
Just like keep the uncomfortableness going.
My note here, Gary, is do we have a sound effect for screeching brakes?
I'm pretty sure this car was already stocked.
Yeah.
This
Okay. 12 minutes. 12 minutes.
Was it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Probably a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
it felt a lot longer. So it starts out with like all of this, black and white footage of Manhasset and Rodney doing a voiceover, trying to figure out how to introduce Manhasset. And then it just...
I feel like this sketch could have ended after the voiceover.
Yes, 100%.
And it could have been a fun little transition because the voiceover goes on for like a minute and a half. And it could have been a really fun, like little trailery type thing. And then you move on.
That's exactly what I was hoping it was.
Like SCTV did the George Carlin as Woody Allen, and it was only 2 minutes for it. That's where my brain went. I like the idea of sticking Rodney in a Woody Allen movie or Woody Allen type role, but I like the idea that, and that's all I like about this sketch.
And that is plenty because I agree with you.
Because there's another 11 minutes to go.
And this is where he says his age, Brad.
Oh, right. Because she says she's 10 and I'm 58. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
being serious there. Got it.
Yeah. Because that's when I looked it up and I was like, oh, that is legit. He is 58. We do see Zweibel in this sketch. That was a highlight.
He's a waiter, right?
Yeah, he's a waiter. I'll just read you my notes from watching this sketch. I wrote Rodney voiceover. She's 10 and I'm 58. WTF, Zweibel. And then I wrote nothing except, Jesus, why did I have to watch that? This entire sketch is about his being in love with Lorraine, who's playing a 10-year-old girl.
Well, they're doing Manhattan. I mean, that's why. And for some reason, they thought it was funnier that 17 wasn't young enough, so let's make her 10, put her in a brownie outfit.
Right.
Can I say this as the guest? Early 1980, baby.
I like it. I like it. Well played, sir.
Hey, you're not going to see jokes like that in the Dick Ebersol era. I'll tell you that much.
No. I mean, you got more notes than I do, Gary. I have. What do I have here? Still going. ... Holy shit is one of mine.
I guess I will admit, the first time I saw this, I thought the scenes of Dangerfield and Bill Murray walking in front of the chroma key was sort of humorous. It was so cheap.
Oh,
it was
really?
funny, but just the first time maybe. But I did not like the sketch. And then you get Schaefer and Shearer.
Oh my God, who are these two?
Completely superb. That added nothing. They had nothing to do with the sketch. No,
They're like on a field trip.
There's no reason for that.
No, just to pad out a 10, 12-minute sketch. No.
Then it comes back and they're in the diner again. Like, there's something about the ex-wife, and I was like, just ask for the ex-wife's number and end the sketch there. But no, it keeps going, on and on. I got genuinely upset by the end of this, Gary.
It took you to the end to get upset by this?
By the end, I tried to listen. I'm not one to over-exaggerate. This might be the worst long sketch we've seen all season. This is horrendous.
Yeah. I can't argue with you on that. It is. I'm just fascinated because as soon as Zweibel left frame, I was like, all right, I'm done with this sketch.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not. It's too long and it doesn't work.
Jane was good.
Jane was fine.
Jane was good in her 20 seconds.
Yeah.
As the Meryl Streep character walking down the street.
Yeah. I did enjoy that, like you did, Jason, on the green screen, the fake walking. I thought that was funny, just as like something humorous to throw in there.
Yeah, and whoever did the black and white shots of Manhasset did a good job too, but not nearly enough to save a sketch.
No, not at all.
No.
Well, boys, let's head to the road to Moscow because that's where we're going next. Hosted by Harry Shearer as Kurt Gowdy. He's talking to Bill, Lorraine, and Garrett, who are all potential athletes who would have tried out to go to the Summer Olympics if not for the boycott. And, there were some elements in here where they he starts asking them about their athletic prowess. And, Garrett's like, well, I would have tried out in 68, but I had 2 kids and we had to go on vacation or something like that. And that's all this sketch was. It was just like them coming up with excuses why they couldn't be in prior Olympics. It was relatively harmless compared to everything else we've seen so far tonight.
Shearer does a passable Kurt Gowdy impression. That's the best thing I can say about this.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's not a good sketch.
No,
I think I was still hungover from the whole Manhasset thing because I left this sketch confused and in awe. I mean, this whole sketch feels like everybody's just phoning it in. Even Harry, which is rare. Like, he usually will shine through something, and even he seemed to just be going through the paces on this.
Yeah. I can't say I blame him.
No.
Then Jane and Gilda come out and talk to camera, promoting the 100th year of SNL. My first note was...
They were in the same robes they wore last week.
Are they the same? Probably.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know.
It seemed like the same robes when they interrupted Kirk Douglas last week.
Could be. They had fun with this. Joking around, making one another laugh.
At least somebody was laughing.
Yep. They were just laughing at how uncomfortable everything was so far tonight. But our next sketch, I'm just going to say right now, it's my best bit of the night.
I had it in contention, actually.
I don't know what it's in contention with. This is Substitute Judge. So we're in a courtroom and Brian Doyle Murray comes in as a substitute judge. And then we just see the entire courtroom, the lawyers, the defendant, the jury, they all act like kids when a substitute teacher comes in.
Now, I know you were all expecting your regular judge, but Judge Hoffmeyer is sick today, and I am your substitute judge. My name is Judge Croce, not Crutch. All right, now I know it's Friday, the end of the week, but just because Judge Hoffmeyer is not here, that doesn't mean this is going to be fun. You understand? Now, while I try and find my place here, you may speak quietly to your neighbor if you like. I said quietly.
Your Honor, I'm the prosecuting attorney in this case, and yesterday Judge Hoffmeyer said that if we were good, we could have court outside today. He did, honest, I swear. You can ask the defense attorney.
Yeah, it's true, Your Honor. We were going to the scene of the crime and tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
Right. Well, would this be relevant to the case?
Oh, sure it's relevant, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I understood that you were ready to give your final summations.
Oh, no. We were just supposed to talk about the final summations today.
Yeah, we were supposed to have court outside because it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Order, or I'll have the bailiff clear the room. Where is the bailiff?
He cleared out of the room.
Do you think the idea for this sketch came from that Weekend Update joke a couple weeks ago about the substitute firefighters?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I remember that joke too, but I hadn't thought of that. But I think this is a great sketch. I don't know who wrote it, but it's great. I think everybody in the sketch makes an impression. Everybody gets a funny line. I think it's a great sketch.
I agree.
And it's not just because of what came before it. It's a great sketch in its own right.
I agree. I think this is a sketch that I think it stands out tonight because of everything that it's surrounded by, but it's a really fun sketch and everyone seemed to have a lot of fun doing it too.
Yes.
It was just a good high energy sketch that was fun and silly. Harry Shearer does come in as the judge from next door and yells at everyone for being so loud. I thought that was fun. There are a bunch of fun little things in this sketch.
Bill's little I'm shaking, you hear as Shearer walks out. Yeah, it's a great sketch. Garrett gets some good lines as the bailiff. Yeah, it's a great sketch, and I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot.
No, I agree. It's a funny sketch. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield plays Dick Hertz.
Yeah.
Okay, who's Dick Hertz here?
He says, who's Richard Hertz? And they say, actually, his name is Dick.
Right.
This is like a complete 180 from the last sketch, because I agree with you. Harry Shearer's great.
Yeah.
And he comes in as the other judge, and you're disrupting my courtroom, and I want the names of everybody.
Right.
He's so good in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff in this. I agree.
Yeah, it really is. I really liked this. And I won't say that about anything else tonight.
They start doing the humming gag at the end. They start humming low, and it gets louder and louder. And finally, Brian Doyle, who's humming? And he's good.
I thought he was really good. Yes. I totally agree.
Because like I feel like we knock Brian Doyle Murray a lot for acting or trying to carry a sketch, and this was a perfect role for him. He was really, really good in this.
Yeah, this might be his best performance of the season. That off the top of my head,
it's really good.
Yeah, he's great. Well, after that brilliant sketch, we go back to Geils Band, and they play their song "Sanctuary." This was one, Brad, where I felt like Peter Wolf did have a little more energy in this, and he felt a little more on point. Maybe it was the red and black striped pants weren't fitting well in the last song, but now he's changed his outfit and doing a little better. This was a great performance, I thought.
He definitely seemed more into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know this song.
Yeah, this is an odd choice because this is from their previous album that came out in November of '78, and it was never released as a single. So I guess it was just a song they really liked and wanted to perform on Saturday night.
Yeah, I know they put it on a live album. The last live album they did, it was on there. But yeah, it's an interesting choice for them. But they played it well.
Yeah, it's a good performance.
Yeah. It seems like one of those songs that they just enjoy performing live. Maybe that's why they did it. But it worked.
You know who did not enjoy it that much, though? Did you notice when they pulled back and you catch the audience, there was like an old guy in the front row?
I did not.
He was not moving. He was like a stone.
Oh, really?
Still as hell. Yeah, it was like an older gentleman. I noticed it in the first song like once, and I see it here again. It's like this guy front and center just still.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch this episode again just to catch that.
You should just like fast forward to it, Jason. You don't have to watch the whole thing.
Just take my word for it. There was an old guy there. He wasn't into it. You got it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
But yeah, good performance by Jay Giles. I think they did a nice job on both their songs.
Yes.
And I feel like they're a good band to have on in the early 80s. Like it makes sense to have them on now. And then I think we've said this about a bunch of bands. Like they take off after, and they certainly do. After that, we get a sketch driven by Peter Aykroyd, which was an interesting choice, talking about America on the job.
Okay.
And we're there seeing shirt inspectors do their job. So Rodney, Garrett, and Bill play shirt inspectors, and they're just trying on button-down shirts. And they're trying, checking out the cuff and the fit and everything. And Peter Aykroyd does a live voiceover walking behind them about America's, shirt inspectors. This is not on a set. It's on home base, just with a fold-up table and a bunch of shirts.
Right. It's like season 1.
Yes.
Yeah, I cringed when Peter Aykroyd stumbled over his line there because he at the beginning he reminds you of his brother, and then he's trying to do that rapid fire pitch man, and he just stumbles over it and just brings everything to a halt.
Doesn't help. Yeah.
That was my take. Yeah. No, and I felt like Gilda didn't add anything here. I don't know why she needed to be there.
I had the same question.
Right. Gilda's in this sketch.
I love Gilda. Right. She brought nothing.
She brought shirts. She literally brought shirts.
Not true, Jason. Oh, yeah. She brought shirts. A cartload of shirts.
Yeah, she did bring shirts, but I think you can do that sketch without Gilda. It's a 10-1. I'm guessing Peter Aykroyd wrote this piece. The only reason for its existence that I could tell is Rodney Dangerfield used to do a gag with his tie where he pull the tie and move his head side to side, and he does that here. But I think they could have found some other way to do that than Shirt Inspectors of America or whatever.
Like a tie inspector.
Yeah.
It's funny you labeled a 10-1 because I actually wrote down, might this have played better after the monologue, like right after the monologue? Because at this point in the show, no one's buying this sketch. Because it's tough, like you said, it's just a voiceover. There's no action that's funny, that, where plays to any jokes. It's literally what he's saying. So you have to buy into the premise or else there's nothing there. And so that's why I was like, maybe it would have played better earlier in the night before you got your ass kicked for the last hour and a half.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. Like you both said, Gary, I'm going to quote you on this one. I think it's a funny premise and they just can't follow through. Like it's an interesting idea of these, who are these shirt inspectors and what do they do? Like the idea on paper makes sense.
Right.
But they just can't deliver.
No.
At all.
It was just so funny to me that they were just like, do this sketch, get a folding table and just put it up there. get a bunch of shirts from wardrobe and go.
Yeah.
My God. Mm.
I don't know. Maybe they spent too much the week before on the micro dentist set or
All right,
or
that's
something.
you know what?
It was a great set.
Fair point.
It was a great set.
That was a great set.
Well, that's it. That's our show.
Yeah, out with a whimper.
Quite the whimper. And we go to good nights. Peter Wolf's there with a bottle of champagne that he's uncorking and trying to spray all over everybody, I think. And
Everyone.
Yeah, you don't see that. You don't see that I can recall in any prior episode. People drinking openly on stage during good nights, unless I'm forgetting.
I don't think we've
something,
seen it before.
Well, that was memorable.
Yeah.
And everybody gives Rodney one of these, the okay sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's saying goodnight, following up on the monologue.
Yeah. And that's it. That's our show. That's the show you wanted to talk about, Jason. So how is it upon your most recent review watch of it?
Well, like I said, it was one of the few episodes I owned on VHS in the 80s, and I because I was such a huge Dangerfield fan, and I think he brings an energy to this episode that makes it worth watching at least once. But it's not a good episode. Having rewatched it, preparing for this podcast, it's not a good episode, and I think he deserved better. It's one of those things that makes you wonder what would it have been like if he'd have been there to host in season 3 or 4 with Aykroyd and Belushi and other writers, and everybody having more energy and optimism instead of the latter half of season 5. If I was gonna review this one for my blog, and I give a star rating, I would probably say 2.5, and that's because Dangerfield he brings an energy that makes it entertaining if you're a fan of his, but it's not a good episode.
No. Gary, if I may,
You may.
I need to say thank you for controlling yourself this episode, because I know how much you've been enjoying season 5 so much. Allow me to take the mantle, if I may, for a few minutes.
Please.
I am at a loss. This is easily one of the worst episodes of the original era. Easily. For the first time, I buy the excuse that everyone is worn out, because this episode just feels tired. This is the one where the writing is on the wall of why Lorne would say, sure, we'll come back. We need like 7 months off. And I think I texted you this, and it was before I was even done the episode. Season 5 may have finally broken me.
Yeah.
I may be done. This could be the straw that broke my back. This is how bad this episode is.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else for me to say after you say that. I will say, here's this is not a counterpoint. This is not a counter argument. This is a thought exercise I am having at you out loud. I have not put any thought into this other than right now. What if we saw Jane and Gilda promote next week's show being the 100th episode?
Yes.
Could it have been that they were focused on that episode and wait, don't shake your head at me. Let me finish my thought.
No, go ahead.
And they knew that they had Rodney Dangerfield coming. He's on top of the world, right? Like Jason said, he's on top of the world at this point. So maybe they're hoping that coming into this, Rodney could help carry the show a la Steve Martin, Buck Henry, Elliot Gould. And they quickly realize, like, oh, this is not Rodney's strong suit. Like, Rodney is not a sketch performer by any means.
Right.
He's a stand-up guy. And therefore, the wheels just kind of fall off throughout the week, and they put together this slop. Just a thought.
I only shake my head because I, for 4 seasons, used the excuse of, next week they've got Buck. That's why this week. And I realize I might be full of shit. So that's why I don't necessarily buy that.
Jason's shaking his head, and Jason said to me before, I'd listened to every episode with you guys, and I realized on episode 8 that Brad was full of shit. So
false. Fake news.
That was before you jumped on.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all can agree. We've all said it. Like, this is not a good episode.
No.
It's one that.
But like, what's going on? This is 3 horrendous episodes in a row. They came back from New Year's, right? I mean, there's no answer to this question, but they came back from New Year's. Cherry Gar, crappy episode. Took a week off. Now they've got 3 weeks in a row of just bad material. Or I think and then they took another week off, and now this is just. I just don't know what's.
Yeah, this is the 4th show.
I'm having trouble figuring out what's happening, why it's so bad.
It is the 4th show in 5 weeks, and
Right.
that's probably part of it, right? Is that they've got just week after week after week, and the shows have not been great. So I think they are exhausted, Brad.
This is, like I said, this is the first time I can see it. I genuinely see it. Yeah.
Well,
As a fan of Dangerfield, I think he deserved better.
100%.
That makes sense here.
anyone deserved better than this. Definitely Rodney Dangerfield deserved better, but any host should not have been subjected to this show. Full stop.
Yeah, and I guess what I said. This is not a good episode. I think I did enjoy it a little more than you two, and it's kind of like watching a bad Marx Brothers movie, like At the Circus or Go West are not good movies, but you can sort of enjoy Groucho and Harpo and Chico, and I sort of enjoy Dangerfield sometimes in spite of the train wreck that he's surrounded by here, I guess. But having said that, it's not a good episode.
Yeah, it is not. Well, Jason, what are your best bits?
Best bits, I think I mentioned the monologue. I think it's one of the better monologues we've seen so far during the first 5 seasons. And Substitute Judge is a great sketch, and it makes you wonder if that, or put it somewhere earlier in the show, maybe it would have brought a little more energy to the rest of the show. I don't think so. I don't think you can save the material that surrounds it, but those 2 are best bits, and almost worth seeing just for those 2 best bits. But that's all I got for this episode.
Brad, what are your best bits?
Rodney's monologue, genuine, loud laughs. It's a great monologue. It's hilarious. And then, I had Substitute Judge, and I wasn't sure, and because the episode is so bad, I didn't know if I was like raising it above everything else in it. But now talking with you guys, that's a great sketch.
Yeah. We're all in lockstep here. Rodney's monologue and Substitute Judge were the only things that made me laugh all night, aside from the creepy harmonica player in Geils Band. Magic Dick. Magic Dick.
Both performances, that guy sucked. And I hate him more than that I know his name, so thanks.
Sorry about that. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Tell everybody where they can find you, find your blog.
You can find me on the various social media sites at JAMorris23221. My classic SNL reviews you can find at classicsnlreviews.blogspot.com.
They're really good.
That's awesome.
They're really good. Like I said, seriously, we would use them
Thank you.
for reference a lot in our early seasons. So thank you for those.
Thank you. And this is a great podcast, and I had a great time tonight. And thanks again for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And just, when you do the review of this episode, if you just want to post the transcript of this podcast, go for it. That's
feel free. That's the least we can do.
Thank you so much, Jason. This was a lot of fun.
Okay.
It was
thanks a lot.
Great having you on.
Absolutely. Great time.
Next week on the early years of SNL, we're talking about season 5, episode 14, the 100th episode of SNL.
This episode was so good, no one wanted to host next week.
That's right. But we will get some musical guests like Paul Simon.
Of course.
We also have James Taylor and David Sanborn. Until then, good night, Walter, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
That's what Jane says at the end of Weekend Update.
Oh, thank you. I'm so confused.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. Look for us on social media everywhere at NR4PT Project. Please remember to rate and review wherever you watch and or listen to the show. Thanks for listening. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Brad, why do you do this? Do you do this to hurt us?
Was there anything else we wanted to touch on Dangerfield before we get into the show?
Unless you want to talk about Jabberjaw.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't remember Jabberjaw?
No.
You don't remember Jabberjaw, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon about a big shark?
I remember Jabberjaw, yeah.
Right? He played in a band. And
Yes. Okay.
He ripped off "I Don't Get No Respect" from Dangerfield, like one of his catchphrases.
Yes, I do remember Jabberjaw.
And he talked like Curly.
Yeah. He talked like Curly from the Three Stooges, stole lines from Dangerfield.
Sort of Jaws meets the Three Stooges, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the perfect late 70s combination.